There's another phase of your work in writing music for films that I wanted to get into, and that is John Williams, the conductor. We've already talked a little bit about you as conductor of the Boston Pops. Um, you also conduct your own music for the films.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you do that with a big screen where
Mm-hmm.
you're actually watching the sequence?
Mm-hmm. The orchestra's set up in a recording studio, Robert, just like you would have here in a sort of large room, and the conductor faces the orchestra. Behind the orchestra is a huge screen on which the film is projected,
Uh-huh.
and so that we can see the picture as we conduct. Musicians watch the conductor, but the conductor watches the screen,
Uh-huh.
and we put cue marks on the film, flashes of light, so that I know if I conduct a certain downbeat, there should be a flash there, so that I know it's in the right place on the film.
Uh-huh.
So that every two or
So
three.
you don't have to memorize the action on the film.
No.
That's what I was wondering about.
And and beforehand in the preparation of the musical sequence, I will measure out every bar so that I know at bar one it starts at 0, 0. At the second bar, I want to be at 3 seconds. The third bar, I want to be at 6.
Uh-huh.
The fourth bar, I want to be at 8. Well, that means bar 4 is shorter than bar 3. It's faster. Instead of using 3 seconds, it's only used 2.
Now, do you change your time signature there,
So
or is that just
either
rubato?
change time signatures or conduct quicker. Just make a rubato, as you rightly call it. So that the art of conducting for film, or I should say the knack or trick of it, is something that needs to be learned and is very difficult to do. We do it in a dark room. We turn all the lights out so that we can see the film well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in a dark theater, and each musician has a light on his light stand, and the conductor is lit from above.
The art of playing for films is different too.
That's right. So it's very tough. We need a good performance, but in addition to that, we need to get the orchestra in sync with the film. We've got to play it. It's like
And
conducting.
they can't see the film.
No,
so
they can't
they
see.
have to be incredibly attentive.
No, they've
to
got to
you.
watch conductor. It's very very like ballet, and everybody knows that the conductor can see the stage. He follows the dancers, or the dancers follow him. The orchestra follows the conductor. And I'm doing the same thing that a ballet conductor does. I'm watching the action of the film. When the soldier's foot comes down in a certain sequence, I have to give a downbeat, and the orchestra has to come together on that boot hitting the floor. So I need to see it to cue it.
When you are conducting just music, as you do with the Pops, you know what's coming up ahead.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you can see it, and
Mm-hmm.
you have this visual ability
Right.
to read ahead on the score and to cue an orchestra
Mm-hmm.
head. On a film, you don't have that, because that's a temporal thing, and it comes at you. So
Mm-hmm.
if
You
you
have
do
to
have
know
a place where there's rubato or something where you've got to stretch a measure,
Mm-hmm.
do you have some kind of cue in the film to tell you that?
Yes, you do, and you need to know the action of the film pretty well. You really should. One needs to study the sequences a few days before you record, so you know them pretty well. But your example of stretching, let's say we want to make a retard. We want, which is to say, slow the music at a certain point, and at the end of that slowing, as a sync point, somebody may blow a trumpet off there for some reason in the picture. I can put we can put a cue on the picture at the end of the slowing, at the end of the retard. And that's done by drawing a white line across the screen. And the conductor will see this white cue line go from left to right. And when the cue line gets completely on the right side of the screen, it's a 5-foot line, which is to say it takes about, in 5 feet of film, takes about 3 seconds to go across. So 3 seconds before my cue, I begin to see a white line crossing the film from left to right. When the white line reaches the end of the frame, end of the screen, there's a white flash, which is nothing but a punched hole in the next frame of film. It makes a white flash, and I just follow that with my arm. And as the white line goes across the screen, I raise my arm and I bring it down as it hits the end of the frame, and a flash of white light goes by. And If I hear the musical accent and see the white flash at the same time in good synchronization, I know that I've cued it correctly.
Yeah.
If it's out of sync, if I'm
Actually, you'd have to be a little bit ahead of it.
in my beat, I would be to
Yeah.
get the sound to come
Right.
smartly on the cue. That's another thing one has to learn to feel.
Mm-hmm.
In
But
slower music,
you have to do that anyway as a conductor.
even in the
so,
theater,
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to do it. Sure.